Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys joining me for today's video. And guys, I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. I want to talk about how I really feel sorry for the younger generation of bass anglers that are coming up right now. A lot of different reasons for this. There's half a dozen different things I want to touch on in the video, but this is something that's really close to me because I understand what it's like to be a young bass angler and passionate about the sport because I was there. I was one of them. And I have a lot of contact with young anglers. A lot of them reach out to me. I, communicate with them. And I sort of want to delve into today, about some of the challenges that they have and why I do feel sorry for them, and maybe some tips and advice I can pass on to not only the anglers, but the people that have created this scenario is why I feel sorry for them. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also, guys, just wanted to extend a big thank you out there to everybody that's taken time to hit that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. If you haven't subscribed, I'd like to encourage you to do that. It's free and easy, good way to support the channel. And also, guys, if you're interested in going to the next level with Intuitive Angling, you can be a channel member that gets private videos every week that are not seen by the public and some access to my personal email address for your fishing questions. Just go to my homepage on my YouTube channel, click on the join button for information, and get you all set up there. Really appreciate that. Okay, one thing I want to clarify here, everybody knows my anti-live scope stance and how I talk about flat brimmers and all that. And it's sort of, they insinuate the fact that I got something against young bass anglers. I don't, guys. I love young bass anglers. I love being around somebody that is ate up with fishing, that's young, that has a fresh mind, that is full of creativity and enthusiasm and passion. I admire that. I love it. I love to be around that energy. I don't have a single bad thing to say about young bass anglers out there. I do, however, feel sorry for them about the situation they find themselves in that has been created by the tournament organizations and by some of the companies within the industry that has put them in a position that's very difficult. So we're going to touch upon that. So first of all, I sort of want to touch upon this a little bit from a tournament perspective, because a lot of the younger bass anglers that watch my channel or, are on YouTube, they have an interest in tournaments. It's like usually if you're a young bass angler, you are interested in tournaments, whether it be college, high school, or whatever. I don't see a lot of like young guys out there just wanting to fish for fun. They usually want to compete at it. So one of the things I want to touch on, why the first thing reason I feel sorry for them is of this tremendous income disparity that has been created in our sport that discriminates against younger anglers that simply don't have money. It hasn't always been like this. Guys, back when I started and when I was in high school and when I was a teenager, everybody that was fishing the little tournaments I did, the little buddy tournaments, everybody pretty much was on the same level playing field. Nobody had a lot of money. All of our boats were similar and they were junky, and we had one, maybe two flashers on our boat. Most of the people just had one flasher on their boat, 5 or 6 rod and reels. And this whole thing about income disparity did not exist back then when I came up. Now, guys, we have this income disparity amongst young anglers that give certain young anglers a tremendous advantage over the less fortunate anglers. And I'll draw one comparison here, guys. I have a ton of people reach out to me for advice and comment as far as what, advice that they have for their young anglers out there for their kids. And out of the, dozens and dozens that I get, two that stands out to me that sort of draw what I'm talking about here is that there's this one young angler. He's 17 years old. He lives I don't want to say what state, over on the East Coast, and he lives with his mom. And he doesn't have a dad. I don't know the situation, but he hasn't had a dad since he was a baby. Single parent family. Dude is ate up with bass fishing. He emails me all the time for fishing advice. Fishes off the bank. Fishes out of a boat whenever he can get a ride with somebody. And all he can think about is bass fishing. He wants to be a pro bass fisherman, reads everything he can, watches every YouTube video, but he doesn't have any money. It's like his mom makes just enough money to pay the bills and put the food on the table. And this guy's ate up with it, and he can't compete. And then I've got this other person that I've been contacting with. He's a very successful, financially independent business person. and he has a son that wants to get into fishing big time. He's into high school events, and he has provided his son with the best that money can buy, live scopes, everything with that. And I get it. I understand a parent wanting to support their kids. I understand that part of it. But here's the income disparity I'm talking about. The kid I'm talking about from back east there, he loves it, has all this passion, yet doesn't have the resources. And this other kid who maybe has lesser or equal passion, he has every advantage possible financially to give him a tremendous advantage over the other kids his age. And this is one of the reasons I feel really sorry for the younger generation right now of anglers, is that Bassmaster and MLF and some of the businesses in this country have created this elitism that we have in our sport that is so freaking expensive to compete in, because number one, we don't have equipment limitations that level the field. We have equipment, there's no equipment limitations. You can spend as much money as you want on a boat or rigging it out with electronics or whatever, and people do, which gives them a tremendous advantage of somebody that doesn't have the resources to have that type of advantage. Therefore, I blame the tournament organizations for creating and perpetuating this unlevel playing field that discriminates against some of the less financially affluent anglers out there. It's a bad deal. Never did exist when I was a younger angler. Okay, second to that is, and you knew we were going to talk about this, and it's probably the most important reason, I am very, very sorry for the young anglers that are being brought up in this age of forward-facing technology, forward-facing sonar technology, because it is kneecapping them as far as in terms of them becoming a well-rounded, real bass angler. Most of these anglers, guys, that get started anymore, they're young, they go straight into forward-facing sonar. They don't understand. They probably don't even own a flipping stick. They don't understand anything about seasonal patterns and bass movement and bass behavior. Most of them I talk to don't know anything about the history of the sport, the people that were here before them. They've entered this surreal environment of fishing that is just disconnected from what bass fishing really is. And in doing so, along with being just completely oblivious to all of the diversity of techniques and patterns that exist with bass fishing, is they have been conditioned to think this is the normal way to do it, and this is the way that they have to do it in order to move forward in the sport. And again, that particular viewpoint is perpetuated by the tournament organizations and the rules that they have put forth, allowing forward-facing sonar technology to encroach in our sport. A lot of these young anglers out there, guys, I feel sorry for them because they're completely disconnected from the natural world. It's like they get out there focused on that screen 100%. They don't take their eyes off it. They don't notice the birds sitting up in the tree. They don't notice the squirrels up on the bank. They don't notice the crawdad holes in the bank. They don't notice subtle water clarity changes or, a lot of the awareness that is required to be a good outdoorsman, whether it be a hunter or an angler, because they don't need it. It's like when you go out there and you put down that live scope transducer and you're just scanning in the middle of that creek or that cove, you don't need to know anything else. There's nothing about the 100 different type of techniques and lures and presentations and the subtleties and the art form of bass fishing that you need to know. The only thing that you need to know is how to decipher those live image blips on that screen. And it's sort of like the same deal, because we've got 3 kids here at the house, and they love video games, and we put screen time on them for that because they get addicted to these video games. They get addicted to whatever it is that triggers it in their brain. And it's the same with the young anglers and the forward-facing sonar units. They are literally addicted to that. And when I use the term of being connected by an umbilical cord to this artificial technology, that is real. That's a real connection, because I can promise you guys, and again, I'm not bashing the young guys, the young anglers. This is just the reality of the situation. If you would go to any high school or college tournament right now, and you would go to that event and say, forward-facing sonar is illegal, you cannot use it in the tournament, do you realize the level of fear and anxiety and worry that would fall over most of those kids out there, because that's how they've been taught. That's how they've been raised to fish. And that is sad. That is what I feel sorry about for them. They've missed out on so much of the foundational building blocks of being a bass angler through this stupid technology that's been thrust upon us by the electronic companies and Bassmaster and MLF. Bassmaster, MLF, Garmin, Humminbird, and Lowrance, those entities right there have created this problem that we are in right now. That's all there is to it. It has completely changed the sport to something that's not even recognizable. If you look at the sport 10 or 15 years ago and exactly how it was laid out versus it is right now, it's unrecognizable, and not in a good way. It has not been changed for the positive. It's been changed for the negative in a big way. So the point I want to talk about here, guys, if you're a young angler, or if you're a parent of a young angler, which is there's probably more parents than young anglers watching my channel here, just please, guys, resist that technology. Just please try to get away from that and try to teach your kids how to really appreciate the full experience of bass fishing on its real level, because it is so much more satisfying. It's so much more rewarding. It's something that stays with them for so much longer in their lives. It's just going to make them a better angler and a better person all the way around. And also, there's not much you guys can do as parents about the financial disparity end of it. That's something that falls upon Bassmaster. If Bassmaster would put equipment limitations on their tournaments, on their high school and college tournaments, Bassmaster and MLF, that would narrow this financial disparity gap that we have in this country, especially with bass anglers, it would make everything so much better for everybody. But anyway, guys, if you're a young bass angler, guys, I get it. I understand what it feels like to be a teenager and just love and get ate up with fishing. And also, guys, if any of you young guys out there have any fishing questions you'd like to ask me, just shoot me a private message on my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat, Professional Angler. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have, help you out any way that I can, and really try to encourage you to approach bass fishing from the real, just the pure point of it, just the pure point of what bass fishing is all about. And again, I just highly recommend you guys don't get sucked into that forward-facing sonar. I know that you think you have to do it to compete, and you probably do, but our energies need to be focused more on getting this stuff banned from tournament competition so you don't have to worry about that anymore. So anyway, guys, hope everybody's well. We'll talk later.